everybody's doing okay. We can still keep busy. I know we don't see each other like we need to. When Jay closes those doors, I know it's time. We have a lot to cover today. So, let's all go to our Father in prayer before we start. Dear Lord, we thank you for such a pretty day that you give us. Help us not to take it for granted. Help us to know what that you've given us, the sacrifice of your Son on the cross. And help us to know that we need to tell others about you. Help us to love you and know that you put us here on this earth for a purpose. Be with those that are having difficult times. Let us to be thankful for our own health, that we have it, not take that for granted. Know that that blessing does come from you, good things that you give us. Help us to learn something from this study, share it with our neighbor. In Christ's name we pray. Amen. All right, I've turned it on. I know you can hear me without it. Is there any pertinent information we need to hear before we start? I know that the Amy's, Daddy, Lee Ray, and all of them, y'all getting ready for your surgery this week, I guess. There ain't nothing much you can do to get ready for it, is there? Just show up. That's
We noticed on Facebook this morning that one of our friend's daughter has passed away, and people here I'm sure probably remember her.
Was she 54 years old?
Well,
Young?
Dana Moore.
Yeah, I saw that.
She was the granddaughter of Beatrice and Benny Cruz, who lived here in Hall for many, many years.
Boy, I've heard that name. So, keep Miss Moore, is that right? Dana Moore in your prayers, the family.
She passed away.
I think it was liver, according to what I've read, it was, there were donations to the liver foundation, like it was some kind of liver activity.
Kenneth and I didn't know, but we would have probably, the funeral was yesterday.
Let's remember Trent's family. Karen and I, of course, we were able to, it was a beautiful morning Friday, and I have kind of a workout on Friday and I'll go to, and I told my instructor, I said, I need to be there at 6 this morning. He's good with that, so I could get back. And Karen had to rush me a minute me out of the house like she always does, but we made it on time to Trent's grandmother's funeral. And I'm saying all that to say this. A cappella music's one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard, and that was an old country church, and you had to wait to be seated to go in, and that music, and it is music, was beautiful. That was, everybody in there was singing, and it was just gorgeous. So, and it was not entertainment, it was worshiping the Lord, and it was really pretty, really pretty. Does anybody else have anything before we start? We're in verse 9 of Romans 12. And this part of the chapter is, the preface of this chapter is called Behave Like a Christian. And buddy, is it talking to me? So and we'll try to get to our lesson today because it's got some good learning. It says, let love be without hypocrisy. And I'm going to stop with that one sentence. We may not get out of chapter 12, but we're going to go to Luke chapter 10, and I think y'all know what it's talking about. So let's go in our Bibles, I believe, if my memory serves me right, to Luke 10, verse 25. Yes, we're going to start. Can anybody talk to me about this Samaritan dude? He wasn't supposed to be the one doing all the work in this situation. a fancy word is repugnant. People look down on them. I don't really know the certain reason why they did. But it just came to my head that his love was out his hypocrisy. Hey, Tom, have you got something to add to that? The Jews thought they were better, right?
Well, the reason they didn't like them is because they were part Jew.
So they were hybrid.
That's right. They didn't like that. And then they claimed to be Jews.
Okay.
They were not pure Jews that intermarried with other folks and took up some of their religion. So the Jews couldn't stand that. Couldn't blame them, in a sense.
That's true. Would you say that was a preconceived idea? Or no, it's really, Karen's shaking her head no, so it's really truth. This love, this is love. We have different ways of showing it. It's without hypocrisy. And behold, a certain lawyer stood up and tested him, saying, Teacher, what shall I do to inherit eternal life? And he said to him, What is written in the law? What is the reading? And this is about Christian living. What is your reading of it? So he answered and said, You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your strength, and with all your mind, and your neighbors yourself. And he said to him, You have answered rightly. Do this, and you'll live. But he, wanting to justify himself, said to Jesus, And who is my neighbor? I think this fits the part of not loving and being a hypocrite at the same time. Jesus answered, he said, A certain man went down from Jerusalem to Jericho and fell among thieves, who stripped him of his clothing and wounded him and departed, leaving him half dead. Now, by chance, a certain priest, came down the road, and when he saw him, he passed by on the other side. Likewise a Levite, when he arrived at the place and came and looked and passed by on the other side. But a certain Samaritan, as he journeyed, came where he was, and he saw him, and he had compassion. So he went to him, bandaged his wounds, pouring on oil and wine, and he set him on his own animal, brought him into an inn, and took care of him. And on the next day, when he departed, he took 2 denarii, gave them to the innkeeper, and said to him, Take care of him, and whatever more you spend, when I come again, I will repay you. So here's Jesus still talking. So which of these 3 do you think was the neighbor to him, who fell among the thieves? And he said, He who showed mercy on him. Then Jesus says, Go and do likewise. That's the best definition of not being hypocritical with your love that it just came to my mind. Does anybody have anything to add to that?
John wrote that if we say we love God, don't love our neighbor, that's not love.
That's right. And Jay brought this up in our meeting this morning. What to invite, and this is Michael that don't do it, to invite those you think would never step in this building to come in here. That's truly caring for their soul. Or to do something out of the way and help them if you know they need it and you know they're trying and they're struggling. That's a way to let, if somebody knows you really care about them. People don't care about, let me see if I can get this right. People don't care about how much you know, but they know if you really care. Did I get it right? So I think that's what it's talking about. I know we get jaded to the fact that these people, here we go, Jay. When we first came here, the first Sunday night lesson Jay gave was on these homeless folks. How to help these people. So and I know I'm going down a rabbit hole, I think, but it's because we see it every week when we go to town. Does anybody go to town and not go on State Line or over there on Highway 82 and not see those people standing out there? Anybody? Raise your hand, because they're out there. Most of those people are mentally challenged. Oh, no, I say most. I'm going to say at least 30 of them are mentally challenged. The others are not, but we've got, there may be somebody that's really there and can't get out of there and really got a different mindset than we really think. I don't know. But we're going to go back to Romans now. So that is the truth.
In over 50 years of preaching, never had anybody come forward and confess hypocrisy.
Not one time.
No.
Isn't that an interesting statement? And boy, man, I should have been coming down that aisle every week.
I guess it's a non-existent sin.
I guess so. Oh, a fancy word, abhor what is evil. Is that, you're supposed to hate evil, another word for that? There's a lot of things under that umbrella, isn't there? Cling to what is good. Here we go, Jay. Be kindly affectionate to one another with brotherly love, in honor giving them preference to one another. Can we tell somebody something that's going to hurt them and even maybe get them mad and still love them at the same time?
You know, it's interesting that the ESV says outdo one another.
Yeah, I'm in the New King James. So Jay, what's your take on that? I'm gonna put you on the spot because I know you thought about it. Is that one of those light bulb moments? You said, God, wouldn't that be great if we were trying to outdo each other for heavenly things instead of material things and earthly things?
But in the context, he's talking, about brotherly love. Let's try to outdo each other.
That can't be anything but a good thing.
Yeah, you said like helping each other or helping those in need. I think the point is trying to. Michael, you went to a brother's family's funeral the other day. Well, I'm going to go 3 funerals now. I'm going to outdo you. It's just that kind of mentality that we inspire each other, and not in a bad sense, but.
It can't be anything but a good thing.
Right, when I see you're a good example, I want to outdo you. I want to do even more than you do. They do more, vice versa.
What is that? A rising tide floats all ships?
Yeah, it just builds upon it.
Right. Not lagging in diligence, fervent in spirit, serving the Lord. Rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation. Man. Anybody want to discuss? Man, this is full. We'll never get out of this chapter. Patient in tribulation. Anybody want to explain what that is? I can sure tell you. Because I blow that in every time. You get frustrated when something don't work out, don't bow the book down and walk out the room and say, man, I can't figure this out.
Well, that phrase is bookended by in the beginning, rejoice in hope, and ended with be constant in prayer. So, if you want to be patient in tribulation, you start with hope and you end with prayer. I mean, they're together for a reason.
Hey, let me play. The first thought we had, Scott, is you say, hey, let me pray about this. It's going to work out a lot better for you, ain't it?
It's a lot easier to get through tribulation when you have hope heaven.
There you go. Distributing to the needs of the saints and given to hospitality. So, you can go to Acts 2:47 on that all day long. Let's just read that verse while we're there. Okay, this is after they were all converted. 3,000 of them started the Lord's church. But here's what they did. I'll start in 46. So continuing daily with one accord in the temple, in the breaking of bread from house to house, that's the hospitality, they ate their food with gladness and simplicity of heart. They were all together in each other's house, praising God and having favor with all the people. And the Lord added to the church daily those being saved. So that's how he meant for us to act with one another in that as you talk about it. They gave as they had need, distributing to the needs of the saints and giving to hospitality. Same thing. I don't think I'm preaching to the choir on this because we do a very good job of this. So there's really not a lot I can add to that. Bless those who persecute you. Woo! There you go, Billy. It is, isn't it? Has Michael ever blessed anybody that's persecuted him? No. So have I ever thought, well, something these bad happened to him or her? Probably. But I need to catch myself.
Too many times our first reaction is retaliate instead of just forgive them and going back to business.
Okay, here's another one. And this is what rejoice with those who rejoice and weep with those who weep. Be of the same mind towards one another. What is he talking about there? Are we supposed to think alike? Is that what he's talking about? Please, speak up. Help me.
Compassion.
Thank you. Do not set your mind on high things, but associate with the humble. Do you think all these people out here that so-called got it made are really that happy? Content? At peace? I don't think so. Okay, here it goes right here. And I know I'm the world. Nobody, do not be wise in your own opinion. I've started doing this a little bit more as I get older, and I'm getting there. If you know that somebody's saying something now not biblical, maybe, or maybe even biblical, and you've done all, let them have theirs. Maybe y'all say, oh, if you see that if there's nothing you can do and you're done, leave it alone. And even in arguing over something frivolous like what date was the Constitution written, or what day did Dallas go to the Super Bowl, and you know you're right, leave it alone. There's no point in arguing, and I'm preaching to the choir here again. If it is possible, as much depends on you, live peaceable with all men. My gosh. Does that mean we got to turn the other cheek? Probably. Is that easy for Michael to do? Probably not. Beloved, do not avenge yourselves, but rather give place to wrath, for it is written, vengeance is mine. I will repay, says the Lord. That, I know all of us seen it on the news. We didn't. That lady that her husband got killed by a troubled young man, she stood there, and I think she meant it. I forgive you. That's hard to say. She had to wake up with those two young children that don't have a father anymore this morning. Therefore, if your enemy is enemy's hungry, feed him. If he's thirsty, give him a drink. For in doing so, you will heap coal fires on his head. Anybody want to talk about that one? Does that mean you're going to go in there and take a shovel and these hot coals and pour it on his head? I'm going to give you what the commentary says about that. If I can get there.
That is a direct quote, I think, Proverbs 25.
It is. It is a direct quote from there. So that's, you've been in, I didn't want to steal your fire on Wednesday night. Romans 12:20 encourages Christians to love and provide for their enemies rather than seeking revenge. The phrase, heap coals of fire on his head, is a metaphor, not a literal act of malice, but it means that this act of unexpected kindness will cause the enemy to feel shame and remorse, potentially leading them to repentance and a change of heart. The ultimate goal is not to harm the enemy, but to overcome evil, that's just what we said a while ago, with good, by demonstrating Christ-like love and compassion. The context and meaning of this, the passage is part of a larger section, Romans 12:17 through 21, where Paul instructs believers not to repay evil with evil, but to leave vengeance to God. Here we go, Jay. Verse 20 is a direct quotation from Proverbs 25, 21, and 22, and that's, you hadn't got there yet, but you're going there, which also connects feeding an enemy with heaping coals of fire on their head. The metaphor, the burning coals, symbolizes the painful emotional response that genuine kindness can evoke if someone who expects only hostility. By showing such extreme kindness, one's enemy is put to shame and made painfully aware of their own wrongdoings. This deep conviction might lead them to reconsider their actions and repent. There was one other thing I wanted to read about it. One commentary said it was kind of like taking some of the coal fires off of the intense burning. And I can't find that, but it is in one of these commentaries. So anyway, I had a boss one time tell me that, and the guy was really treating me horribly. And he said, if you would just not spool up and rub 2 pieces of sandpaper and just treat him nice when he's still bringing it to you. He said, you know why I know that? I said, no, not really. He says, because he's doing it to me too. And that's the way I treat him. So I didn't particularly think that this guy was a great boss, but what he said made sense. It's like if the preacher's not doing right, but he tells you the right message, you can obey it. So that's what I got out of this. That's the second half of 12. Let's go to the lesson 14 and look at it for a second. We're reviewing Christian love is to be without hypocrisy. So we already know about that. The Good Samaritan showed love. He really was not a hypocrite with our love. How are we a hypocrite with our love? Can anybody tell me? Or with helping people? Well, the famous saying is, well, I sure hate that.
I heard somebody say hypocritical love is shown in selective evangelism. Or that some people will share Jesus with and some won't.
That you got why would you give somebody a blanket when they're cold and you had plenty of other blankets, and you didn't? That's right. Or you could care less.
It means you don't care where you go. And that's not love.
Love is not love until you put it in action.
That's just like obeying's not obeying till you put it in action, isn't it? That James tells us.
I know I'm guilty of choosing who to help instead of letting God choose who to help.
Me too, Dan. Me too. And I guess the question is whether Michael's going to do anything about it. And that's what we have to do, and we can't. Even though we might have helped somebody 100 times, and we know they're always going to ask, it's hard not to. It's easy not to help them. That's an easy thing to do. The hard thing is, well, we need to give him another chance. Okay, now we're going to the love chapter. Now abides faith, the second one. Now abides faith, hope, love, but the greatest is love. He's talking about agape love, right, Scott? Does anybody in here want to tell me what agape love is?
Supreme love.
No bounds.
Seeking a person's highest good.
The Greeks had a word for every kind of love. Agape, phileo, storge for family love, eros for fleshly love, never found in the New Testament. Never,
Not one time.
not one time.
You know, the reason love is the greatest is because it's gonna be here, it's gonna be forever. Faith is the end, hope is gonna be reality, but love is gonna continue on in eternity. These other two will fade out when eternity comes to fruition, but love will be there.
Exactly right. Why do y'all, Jay, Scott, y'all, I know Scott, have you preached a wedding yet?
Yep. And it's tough. There's no marriage. Throw that out there.
So I'm asking both of you, is it just as tough to preach a wedding as it is a funeral?
What's that?
Is it just as tough to teach a wedding as it is a funeral? You don't? Because you're at a happy occasion.
No, I think it's the other way around.
Oh, okay.
That's just a person.
No, I had, when I was a little boy and my sister was getting married, and I was in the 3rd grade, and they had a little room they was getting ready, and my mother was crying, and I said, why is Mama crying? I said, well, funerals are happy, and the weddings are sad. And I still remember that.
I'm popping off, Michael, but it's not which one is better, it's the opportunity to be able to serve somebody that makes that even, it's always good. You know, whether you're serving a family who's lost a loved one, or you're serving a family who's gaining a member, both are opportunities to serve, and that's what we're all about.
That's true. And for Scott, when you're preaching this, the greatest of all is love. They got to have a whole lot of love to make the patience to go the distance in this marriage thing, right? And that's a kind of, we're not talking about the physical love. You're talking about when things get tough. If we say that we love God and hate other people, we are a liar. John 4:20. Jay's already brought that up. So we got to care about other people. And how many times do we leave this? You might have had a horrible week. Well, how you doing? I'm doing fine. And we need to ask people that. So and really know if we, but of course if you said, are you sure? The other person, oh crud, he's my psychiatrist now. So I don't know exactly how you'd approach that. So we do have to love one another. We're instructed to hate evil and hold on to good, number 4. That's verse 9. David Estes brought this up the other night. Knowing discernment will help us between good and bad. Hebrews 5:14. What's discernment? Anybody? Knowing it.
What's good and what's bad, right? Knowing the difference, knowing.
Being able to size it up.
I used to tell the kids I was teaching that when you see a bus coming, it's like trouble. You don't wait till it hits you. You see it coming, you make a good decision to get out of the way.
My favorite saying. That's right. Sometimes we discern the wrong way, but we need to do it rather than not. Knowing discernment, number 5, knowing discernment helps us to determine whether between good or bad, and that's what we talked about. We should be kindly, and I'm not talking, there's 2 different kinds, and in English I never could get it right. Affectionate, A-F-F-E-C, affectionate to one another. Verse 10, that's in Romans 12. Affectionate in effect. I had to, when I was writing a paper, I'd always, affectionate means, and it's not necessarily a physical affection. You could be affectionate like, are you sure you're okay? Or calling somebody, hey man, this is me and you on the phone. If you need somebody, I'm here for you. That's the A, affectionate. Anybody, did that bring up any comment? And I don't.
Affection could also be compassion.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like we said before in this, Jesus had a compassion on those people that walked all that way to hear him preach and said, man, these people are hungry. We got to feed them before they go back. That's compassion, isn't it, Kenneth? That's what we have to do. Be willing to, oh, I do too. I've said it before. I think we're one of the best. But it also goes back to what Jay says, and maybe I'm overthinking this. That poor woman that was compassionate with Jesus and loved him, she gave all she had. The last penny. She gave till it hurt. She was affectionate with Jesus. She knew it. She didn't know how she was going to make it the next day after giving that. She literally didn't. Somebody, okay, here I go getting into all these meanings. In what way are we to serve the Lord? Verse 10, I don't know what y'all, New King James says diligent. Diligent means consistent. Do it with the right attitude every day. What, okay, here we go. This is going to probably end our class because there's a lot of discussion. Hebrews 10:25, let's go there. And if this takes us into next week, that's fine. There's been discussion about this. Let us consider one another in order to stir up love and good works, not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together, as in the manner of some, but exhorting one another as much more as you see the day approaching. Is there any comment on that? Because it's open to discussion.
Christ died for the family, and we need each other.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Okay, at the last of that, as we see the day approaching, I have done some extensive study on this. And my view on this is my view. It's what I've got from what I've studied the scriptures. I'll ask y'all a question. I'm going to put it on the floor. Is that judgment day or is that Okay, brother, I'll see you at church Sunday. Which one is it? Do we know?
The New King James capitalizes the word day, which leads one to think that it's talking about the judgment day, as we see that day approaching.
Right. But if we wake up today and the Lord hasn't come yet, is the coming here I go confused. Is the coming getting closer?
Every day.
Yeah, Paul wrote, and I can't remember the passage, but he wrote that today was one more closer, one day closer to eternity than it was.
Exactly. I did a lot of, and I know you all could have done the same thing. I got a lot of commentaries on it. Here, I'm just reading objectively what I found. Hebrews 10:25 encourages Christians not to neglect meeting together, but together for the purpose of encouraging one another toward love and good deeds, especially as they anticipate Christ's return. There y'all go. The verse is not about simple church attendance, but about maintaining fellowship and mutual spirit support together within the Christian community to strengthen faith and perseverance. Encouraging one another, this verse is part of a larger passage that urges believers to stir up one another in good works. Warning against falling away. There's two ways you can look at it. How can we encourage one another if we're not here to encourage one another? To find out. I know that a good thing for us to do, and it's just like people take it wrong, but they're not mad at you. If you pick up that phone, and we've got a directory, and I'm talking to Michael on this, not y'all, please, that you've got the wherewithal to call and see how people are that's sick and ask them if they need anything or how they're doing. And you get into this, most people, they don't, well, who in the world could that be? We probably need to jigger that with a little call if we actually go see them. I've made this mistake, though.
Michael, you know, I was talking about this today. They're talking, he's writing to Hebrew people, right? I read the commentary on the Truth for Today commentary on that. Made a lot of sense. I don't know if y'all got a commentary with Truth for Today, but it makes a lot of sense. That it's really not talking about next Sunday coming or the end of time coming. It's talking, really, he's talking to the Jews. He's talking to the Jews, telling them that the temple is fixing to be destroyed. And the temple stood something to them. I know the temple hadn't been destroyed yet.
That's right.
So, you know, this is gonna be a big impact on them when the temple is destroyed because of all the genealogy and everything else is gone. So he's still letting them know, hey, y'all need to be together on worshiping Jesus now instead of that back there, because that's fixing to happen. And the more you come together, you need to understand that you need to be worshiping Jesus and not looking back at that old covenant that's gonna be destroyed in that temple. Or the temple worship, but the temple, not the covenant, it's already come into existence. But the destruction of that temple was something to those Jews. And he's letting them know, hey, you obey the gospel, you're a child of God. That temple being destroyed shouldn't affect your faith.
And you're talking about the same, when we studied the Gospels, that Jesus predicted there wouldn't be a stone left, right? Exactly. Okay.
It's just something to think about.
Well, it's been used in several different ways.
Anyway, it's used, you know, you need to encourage one another every day, till the end of time to begin with. If we do that, we're gonna be encouraging one another. Before Sunday gets here, we're gonna be encouraging one another until the end of time gets here.
That's exactly right. You told me that Wednesday night, and I forgot to go back and study that part of it. Connection to the meeting together is an earthly foretaste. And we've heard that in songs, a foretaste of glory divine. I can't remember what song it is. Of the heavenly gathering with Christ at his second coming. Not just church attendance, while it includes physical gatherings. The core meaning goes beyond simply showing up for services. This is where COVID got us right here. Avoiding isolation. Forsaking assembling represents a dangerous tendency towards isolation and abandoning the fellowship that helps one's remain steadfast. That's one of the most important parts of it. Have y'all ever heard of this commentary? Jamieson Fausset Brown Bible Commentary? Assembling of ourselves together, the Greek episunage, is that the way you pronounce that? Episunagoge. Somebody can. Episunage is the best way. Is found here in the gathering together of the elect of Christ at his coming. Matthew 24:31, the assembling of gathering of ourselves for Christian communion in private and public is an earnest of our being together to him at his appearing. Union is strength. Continuing assemblings together beget and foster love and give good opportunities for provoking each other to good works by exhorting one another. Hebrews 3:13. The bottom line is, it's a good thing for us to be here when we assemble. On Sunday mornings, we assemble because we're commanded to break bread upon the first day of the week, Acts 20, verse 7. Other times, it can't be anything but good for us to be here. That's all I got on that subject. We will start next week. I done got caught up here and I knew this was the main point. We will start with Roman numeral 2, number 9. I think that's where we'll start. Roman number 2, number 9. And we're going to get into a very interesting chapter. This will cause a lot of debate. Y'all know what chapter 13 is about. Obeying the laws of the land and the government. So we're going to get into all, what's got us divided so bad. I'm not going to just pound on it, but that's what it's mostly about. So with that, we'll end class this morning. You've been very attentive. Thank you.
take one of my students. There you go.